Alright, hello, this is Raven Corpus. So today I want to go over my method that I used for dyeing these disc golf discs. Like this picture I did of Pitt, which is a comic book character, and this image from Ghost in the Shell. Without a vinyl cutter or plotter, this is all done by hand. So let's get started. Okay, so obviously the first thing we need to do is get an image to put on the disc. So I got this image on Photoshop of Gladys from Portal, game I like, so stands to reason I would put it on a disc. Problem with it is we're only doing a single monochrome image, so having all those colors is going to be a problem. So the first thing we want to do is reduce this down to grayscale. Mode, grayscale. And boom. So we're halfway there now, but we got way too much gray. So let's go to image, adjust brightness and contrast, and let's ramp this all the way up. Okay. Now, I find a filter that works really well with doing this is, if you go to the filter gallery, torn edges. As you can see, we already got a pretty decent setup here. Sometimes the smoothing will be way down, you have to ramp that up. Contrast will change the speckles, and you don't want any of that artifacts in there. You also want to be careful. When I first did this, it came out like this, and that's way too much black. We want to create as much large white area as possible while still giving some detail to the image. If you ramp it down too low, you'll notice there's way too many lines, and that's just a headache. So let's go back up to right about here. That's probably good. We can get rid of all, we can just not draw this part here, and some of these little spots we'll probably do without, depending on how large or small they end up being. That's probably good. Now we need to get this to fit onto a disc golf disc. I say disc golf and then don't finish with the disc part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file, and we're going to change this to 8 by 25. That's 8 1/4 inches, which is about the diameter of a disc. Let's get this up 200 resolution. Okay, and to sort of better help us place the image, I'm going to put a little shape, a little ellipse tool here. I'm going to hold the shift key down to keep it a perfect circle here. Give us some kind of sort of like a place marker to help us center this picture here. Now we're going to go back and select all, Control C, go back, Control V, there we go. Now we're just going to have to adjust the size here and try to fit her the best we can in this circle. Stretch her up a little bit, maybe. See how that looks. It's not too bad. Let's move her over a little bit. Alright. Now, you know, this area here, be careful. Let's get real close to the edge. Now, when I place it on the disc, it might not be exactly in this location, but I'm going to make sure that these wires do kind of go off and over the edge. I really like the wraparound look of an image on a disc. I like when the image goes all the way over and spills over the edge. Too many discs where they just sort of keep the image smack dab in the middle And you know, you kind of got to be a little creative here and sort of try expanding on the possibilities of what you can do with these discs. So this looks pretty good. So I think we're going to stick with that, and just like to do now is print her out on a piece of paper, and off we can go to the next step. Okay, so now we got to prepare the disc. My new cure, it's already had some use. To do that, to get the stamp off, we want to use some acetone, which in like most videos, you can get this at a hardware store. It's pretty cheap. I think it was $8, I think. Yourself a paper towel. Trench it out. Well, let's see how it goes. Alright. Now we can move on to the next step. Okay, so we have our clean disc. The next thing you're going to need, besides your image, is going to be your contact paper. Now, the method that I use is I will actually take this thermal transfer paper. Anybody who's ever gotten a tattoo should know what this is. This is what leaves the nice little purple stencil on your skin that the tattoo artist uses. So what I'll do is I'll tear all this off. So all we need is this little sheet right here. Now you could potentially just sketch the image directly on there, but I don't want to do that because if I don't line it up on the disc right, then you're going to have this sticking in the wrong place. So I will actually wrap my disc first and then tape these things on. So I might time lapse this just so it goes a little quicker. Okay, next stage, we're going to take our thermal paper, transfer paper. I'm actually going to tape this on the surface of my disc. Okay, that's the words are there. Now is where we decide how we're going to lay out our image. There's the edge of my disc. Probably gonna move it a little bit. Just leave all this black here. Make sure the cable goes up. Let's tape around here and see how she looks. Alright, simple enough. Of course, depending on how graphic your image is, you might need to tape more edges down. But this is actually, compared to what I've been doing, pretty simple. So at this point, all you're going to do is, let's see if I can get a better shot of that. I'm just going to trace. And as you can see, we got pretty decent guidelines to go off of here. And that's all you really need. It's very important when you're cutting that you have the original image, because as you can see, there is no reference to what is black and what is not. So if you start cutting and start pulling off the wrong stuff, you're going to be pretty upset. So always keep the original with you as a reference. And I really ripped the hell out of this thing. Maybe even fold it over so you keep the original plan. Alright, so the next video we'll start cutting and we'll get into the whole dye process. Thanks for watching.
Chickens.